Your question is, how to realize God? And the answer may be surprisingly simple. Stop interfering. Stop occupying yourself with the idea of a someone present. When we stop being occupied with this, when we stop trying to be someone who seeks, the reality of God presents itself. Realizing God is not something you achieve. It is, in fact, God taking His own place. What we call I occupies an undue space, obscuring the divine presence, which is the only reality. It is curious how we use the expression my life as if we owned life. We say my house, my family, my business. This my and mine are tied to a central idea of an I. However, this I is the only obstacle to the science of truth, the truth that the only reality is God. Realizing God, then, means unrealizing oneself from the I. It is the end of the illusion of this I, which is merely a conditioning, a belief, an idea. This I carries the mine, the my life, my house, my belongings. But all of this is a fraud. While this I remains, so do problems, suffering, fear, because all of this arises from this false sense of a present I. This I appropriates, separates, imposes itself as a false center. There are even those who say, my God, our God. But how can there be our God or my God? All of this is created by this false center, by this idea of an I that even tries to claim the absolute. The direct path to this understanding is meditation. It is to observe this I deeply, to perceive the emptiness of its existence. In meditation, we discover that it is hypnosis, an illusion, and that in the absence of this I, the presence of God emerges, silent and unchanging. Another direct path is satsang, the encounter with truth, with the self. In India, satsang is the encounter with God in His living form, represented by the realized master, one who has dissolved this false center. A master, a realized being, lives beyond the I and guides us to do the same. Shankara, a great Indian sage, said, "The efficient boat for crossing the sea of illusion is called satsang." In satsang, the master invites us to question, to investigate our own beliefs, and to detach from what we believe we are. When God is present, the ego cannot be. The ego idealizes, projects, and even desires to feel God. But divine reality reveals itself only in the absence of this I. True surrender is not an act of the ego, but the dissolution of the illusion, the understanding that the I is nothing but an empty construct. Realization of God does not depend on effort. God is already present, silent, and constant. When we see the emptiness of the I, truth shines in its own light. When the I is not, the divine presence takes its place, and in the absence of the I, we discover that there is nothing else but God. No suffering, no confusion, only the peace of reality, the silence of being. And so, what we call the realization of God is, in truth, the end of the illusion of the I. In the simplicity of being, we discover that God is our own essence, and that when He is present, the I disappears. Only truth remains, eternal and silent.